quarterback, the locker room, and the dividing line. This has been eating at me since the footage dropped. New York Giants quarterback Jackson Dart stepping up to that microphone at a political rally to introduce Donald Trump. Look, I get it. These athletes are also citizens. They have a right to vote, and they have a right to their opinions. And so did Colin Kaepernick. They have the right to their alignment. So did Colin Kaepernick. When you're the starting quarterback of an NFL franchise, you carry a responsibility of a locker room. Everyone in that locker room. A locker room made up of men from every background, every belief system, and every walk of life imaginable. When you get up there and declare your approval and love so loudly on a partisan stage, using the team's own rally cry, screaming, "Go Big Blue," to a stadium crowd, you're co opting the identity of an entire organization for a personal political movement. Colin Kaepernick. Jackson Dart, that is inherently disrespectful to your teammates. The quarterback is supposed to be the unifier, the guy who builds bridges across those massive locker room divides, the logic on the team. Instead, Dart chose to put a target on the collective back of his team. Let's talk about the blue hairs comment. When we crack open what people mean when they talk about blue hairs, it's condescendingly dismissiveness directed at traditionalists. Older generations, like myself, or institutionalists who care more about optics, decorum, and history of how a representative of a major brand conducts themselves. So here's how we're breaking it down. It's an attempt to isolate the critics by painting them as out of touch relics. That's what they're doing. But the reality is that the critique isn't coming from a place of being old fashioned. It's coming from a place of understanding how fragile locker room chemistry is. You don't isolate sections of your fan base or protect a single voice for a diverse squad without fractures forming underneath. As for the defensive players across the league, look, guys, practically, particularly black defensive players who anchor these units and may feel fundamentally alienated by the political rhetoric Dart is championing. Not like Colin Kaepernick. All he did was take a knee. I hope from this that you guys don't need any extra motivation to bring his fucking body down. In the NFL, your tape is your resume, and your hits are your currency. When a quarterback makes himself a lightning rod outside the white lines, it naturally heightens the intensity when he steps inside of them. They won't just be playing, I hope, for the scheme on Sunday. They'll be playing with a chip on their shoulders that Dart put there himself. Expect every defensive coordinator facing the Giants to smell blood in the water. And to be honest with you, if I was a defensive coordinator and I had a lot of black players on my defense, I'd use that every fucking time I saw those Giants. Because the bullseye is now on their jersey, and it just got a whole lot wider. Now, let's get into a lighter note, shall we? Fuck Jackson Dart. Duquan, how do you feel about that situation, sir? Anyway, we're going to talk about tonight's NBA landscape and the closeout. Switching gears to the hardwood, we're going to take a look at what went down last night. Wow, they let the dogs out, like KG said. So over the next 24 hours in the NBA playoffs, we're going to see a lot of shit happening, man. So last night here in San Antonio, the Spurs put on an absolute clinic against the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 4, securing a dominant 103-82 win at the Frostbank Center. Oh, I got to do one on that guy, the owner of Frostbank. He's a real piece of shit. Wow, what a fucking dick. Anyway, and to square things up, or maybe reshape the narrative of this intense conference rival bout, we got to talk about the alien factor, right? Victor Wembanyama. And again, you got to call this man Big Vic. Dead ass. He was an absolute force. 33 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. 11 out of 22 from the field and hitting 3 shots from deep. Man. Yo, that's work, dog. Give a fuck. That's work. Putting belt to ass work. Supporting cast, Stephon Castle. Everybody right now is talking about how did he guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander like he does, like defensive phenom. But he played at UConn. Hey. Him and Vassell both chipped in with 13 points apiece, providing an essential scoring punch to keep the Thunder defense spread out. They had no answers. SGA fought hard for his 19 points and 7 assists, but the Thunder simply couldn't find an offensive rhythm. We don't see that from them much. Shooting poorly across the board was Chet Holmgren, and he was just held to 10 points, plus Wemby got that big-time block on him trying to dunk. Here's where I think that San Antonio now has the leverage to close the series out as it goes back to Oklahoma for Game 5. It's about defensive adjustments and interior dominance. So the Spurs found a physical blueprint last night that completely disrupted OKC's driving kick game. Now, if Big Vic continues to anchor the paint at his elite level, he completely takes away the rim. And that puts pressure on Shai, and that's something he thrives on, getting to the cup, flopping, getting to the line. So now they're forcing the Thunder into a jump shooting variance that they can't rely on under high pressure. It's been proven. You gotta love it. Big up to the coaching staff, big up to these young kids, man. I can't wait to see you guys play the Knicks. And speaking of the Knicks, New York versus Cleveland. Tonight, all eyes on the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Ohio, where the New York Knicks are actively trying to shut the door on Cleveland. It's just Cleveland, man. The Knicks hold a 3-1 series after their decisive 121-108 victory in Game 4, and as we speak, they are well on their way, currently leading by double digits in the second half.
Yo, what is up, everybody? We are here on the Willie Bobo Show. I'm introducing myself as Nasir Green, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my school, Southwest Preparatory, along with Texas A&M San Antonio campus, and I'd like to give 2 special shout outs to my friends, Caleb and Jacob. Peace out, y'all.
For the final segment of the show today, in love and memory, I say peace be unto you, Rob Bass, born in 1967, of course, died here recently in 2026. We lost a true pioneer of the culture. Robert Ginyard, known to the world as Rob Bass, passed away on May 22nd of this year at the age of 59 after a private battle with cancer. Another black man that had cancer and nobody knew. Strength. So the guy grew up in Harlem, and Rob Bass met his musical brother in arms, the late DJ Easy Rock, back in the 5th grade. Inspired by a local legend like the Crash Crew, they picked up the microphones and turntables and signed with Profile Records back in 1987. And then came one of the most foundational pillars of early hip-hop. It takes two. It takes two to make the thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight. Plus the video was dope. And I want to make sure we set the historical record exactly straight for you. While It Takes Two was not technically the first hip-hop song ever to go platinum, which is a distinction held by Run DMC's It's Tricky, and the album Raising Hell as a whole a whole entity in the mid 80s. Rob Bass and DJ Z Rock, It Takes Two single was officially certified platinum by the RIAA, on December the 28th of 1989, selling well over 1 million physical copies. 1 million physical copies of a single in 89. Okay? Shit. That debut album of the same name also achieved platinum status earlier that same year. Now, what Rob Bass gave hip hop was a flawless bridge between standard rap delivery and the surging club house music of the late 1980s. It was built on the iconic Think About It sample from Lynn Collins, right? It Takes Two remains a timeless, flawless record that can move any room, anywhere in the world, across generations. That's amazing, man. Rob Bass brought hip hop into the absolute mainstream without losing an ounce of its Harlem soul. Peace be unto an absolute giant of the culture. And I'd like to thank you for the music you left behind. MC Rob Bass.